The Lifestream.net presents The Maiden Who Travels the Planet.
Underwater. Aerith was sinking, lying stretched out with an expression as if she was asleep. She quietly sank into the cold and tranquil lake. The net of light scattered by the ripples of the surface danced upon her motionless body. It was as if it was trying to tie on to her. Her kind face could no longer have those expressions that were full of energy, the feelings of joy and fun that would spread to everyone around her. The anger she had towards those who disregarded the weak, and the endless tears she had in sorrow. None of them were going to appear again. Her body was going to be silenced for eternity. However, that didn't mean the end of Aerith. She was watching. She wasn't watching through her beautiful green eyes, but through her soul. She watched within a discarnate body filled with the energy of life, as it overlapped her physical body. She watched as the surface of the lake drew further away. She watched as the human shapes gazed at her from the hazy other world. The world where things were alive was another world to her. She watched Cloud's face, which looked as if his heart was going to fall apart from the sadness of losing her, the anger and hate he had for her being taken from him.
Don't blame yourself. There's nothing to worry about anymore. It's going to be alright, even if Meteor falls. So don't let yourself be dragged down by those feelings. Just think about how you can be yourself.
She tried to say it, but her lips wouldn't move. There was no magic that would let her thoughts reach Cloud from her spiritual body as he disappeared fast into the distance. The light that twinkled on the lake's surface became weak and distant as she sank. She fell smoothly into the depths of the Cetra ruins, the forgotten city. Aerith, the last remaining survivor of the Cetra, had fulfilled her mission to protect the planet. The final place where she was supposed to reach had no boundaries, no matter where she went. She had reached the bottom of the lake, but even now, Aerith continued to sink. Her physical body was caught by a blanket of dust, like fine powdered snow, which had accumulated over a measurable time and was being engulfed deep into the bottom of the lake. The vessel that had been separated from the soul was going to return slowly to the great earth and the pure water. Aerith's consciousness was moving to the next, lower level. Nothing changed as she breathed lightly in the dust that floated around her. Aerith continued to sink through the heavy layer of precipitation. The only thing she could see was darkness. But it was a warm, tender, lightless world where she didn't feel lonely. She soon realized that it wasn't dust or mud that she was feeling. Her senses had adjusted so that she could feel the things around her. Her 5 senses were at a higher level that let her feel the true nature of the objects. The world she could see now was not of darkness. She was inside some faint green light that wrapped around her. At the same time, she recognized what she saw. Energy that was split into thousands, no, millions of streams were flowing and circulating around every nook of the planet. The flood of light that engulfed her was one of the streams that separated from the rest. The amount of Mako energy that the planet had was far beyond human expectation and could not be presented by mere figures. Aerith watched as if the planet was beating with life. She watched the brilliance of the Lifestream that drifted around. She recognized the source of life which everything returns to. It was a place full of energy where countless souls were merged together, along with their knowledge and experiences. Even their memories were unbound from them. But Aerith was whole. She remained herself in the place where consciousnesses of the dead flowed and swirled about, keeping the character she had when she was alive. She retained the consciousness of the Aerith Gainsborough she once was, and she was now drifting with the Lifestream. She didn't know that she would become this way. As the last surviving Cetra, she had the role of maintaining the great Earth's richness during her life's journey. Aerith talked to the planet. She talked to the consciousness that was part of the Lifestream, that is. She was told that death was not the demise of life. Most humans thought death meant that they would become nothing, having their consciousness engulfed by darkness, never waking again, a nothingness that can't be comprehended. They thought death meant to be totally annihilated. That's why humans feared death. They were afraid of losing their existence. Even if they themselves realized that they were a race that had a short lifespan, there were many that wanted to avoid it. Even those that had reached an old age after a fulfilling life. Aerith knew that death didn't mean to be annihilated. She even knew about the world that the Cetra would reach in the end once they had fulfilled the mission they had on the planet. That was why she accepted death fearlessly, even when she had a strong feeling that was going to happen to her someday soon. She fulfilled her mission as she meant to, without any fear. Her heart was at peace, even though the humans, who had lost their power to speak with the planet long ago, said that she died an unnatural death. She had no regrets, such as wishing she was still alive, or because she avoided her mission. Even so, she was sad. Her heart was in pain. All the companions that she had journeyed with, the people she grew close to for the first time, the mother that raised her and looked after her for 15 years, Elmira, the people that she didn't know too well, the people who she might have met in the future, people she hadn't met yet. It was a fact she could no longer be with the living. Aerith also knew that the sadness was also with those who she left behind. They didn't know that she still existed as her soul. They didn't need to know. Even if she wished they did, the sadness wouldn't be healed if they knew the truth. The thought of everyone's sorrow made the pain in her even worse. Aerith was in even greater pain when she thought about Cloud. At first, she thought he'd somehow had some similarities to her first love. Even so, his looks, voice, and personality weren't similar, and he also made her think of him as a mysterious person. But soon it didn't matter. She loved him much more than her first love. Cloud was her hero, and he couldn't keep away from danger. She saw him as someone full of confidence, cool, and gave the impression that he would disappear in an instant if she took her eyes off him. She wanted to stay by his side forever if she could. She really wanted to. When she left her companions and headed to the Forgotten City, Cloud's heart was like an egg that was on the verge of cracking open. It wasn't going to crack open like the way an egg hatched, but as if only the yolk was going to seep out. It was as if his mind was going to shatter. She wanted to comfort him. If she wasn't the last survivor of the Cetra, she probably would have done so without a doubt. However, the man in black and silver, who was once a hero, had taken over the will of the calamity that fell from the sky, Genova, and was in a state of madness. He was going to summon the most powerful destructive magic, Meteor, using the black materia. Having been passed the mission from her Cetra ancestors, she had no choice but to carry it out. Sooner or later, Sephiroth was going to summon the giant meteor that would surely inflict an enormous amount of damage to the planet. It would cause a wound that would destroy the very planet itself. Without doubt, the planet would then concentrate a huge amount of the Lifestream to heal itself. It was Sephiroth's intention to make all that power his. After that, he would become one with the planet and become something equal to a god. He would probably then burn all the humans he hates to death. The future of the planet and the cycle of all life would all end as she knew it. Aerith could sense from the whispers of the planet that something could be done to prevent the worst from happening. She also knew that it was something that only she, the last remaining Cetra, could do. She could only obtain the in-depth knowledge from the Forgotten City. But heading there also meant that she would become the greatest obstruction to Sephiroth's plans. That was where Aerith hesitated. Would she let all humans die? Or was she going to avoid such a disaster in exchange for her life? But she never did think about it, and was already prepared. When she did hesitate about leaving Cloud in sorrow, she would think about how it wouldn't save her companions or the people of the world. She had already made up her mind. There was no other choice. It was all for Cloud, too. And so, alone,